Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and once again it is time for a dynamic effort upper date, but a quick reminder for those of you who watch these videos, please remember to click like down below, be greatly appreciated. Alright, in today's session I decided to do historically what I have done on speed bench and go ahead and rotate my grips. I know for just a little bit here I've done single grips throughout the training session, for 2 or 3 of the sessions, but realistically, I'm probably going to get more out of rotating the grips. Why? We get a very training stimulus, work muscles at different ratios, allows us to maintain good bar speed all the way through because we're changing it up slightly. And again, it's just better for overall development because in this case, because I'm using heavier speed work, at this point, the workloads are high enough that we're definitely getting a significant hypertrophy effect. So, of course, I had to set the chains, though, to work on the closed grip so that they're actually lighter. I don't have as much chain weight on the wider grips, although even on the closed grip, when I look at the footage here in a bit, I probably could have found a way to raise the chains up just a hair. Not always easy to do, though, again, when you're trying to fine-tune the chains with what you have, because these spud straps let me set it up really, really fast, and although they don't have quite as much tuning as I might like. But still, overall happy with that. Again, I just might need to find a way to raise those chains up just a little bit, because they're still not 100% perfect on the closed grip. So we did 9 triples this way, and for those curious, I finished this speed bench in less than 10 minutes. So once it's set up and I go to start doing the sets, in a perfect world, I'm looking at about 8 minutes to finish it, approximately. And it doesn't mean there's a full minute between sets. It's because just the filming and everything, returning the camera on and off, hopping back up off the bench, and the sets themselves take, about 30 seconds. So basically I take about, 10, 15 seconds to catch a breath, maybe in some cases, maybe 30, then I hop back down on the bench. So it ends up taking about 8 minutes. All right, after that, I decided to superset, as I've been doing, my pushing and my pulling. Again, it lets me get the workout done in an hour because that's kind of the goal. Because on supplemental work today, I did 18 total sets among 6 exercises. So I did incline bench and I did sets of 8. I probably could have squeezed out more with that weight today. It felt a little easier, but I'll see how that feels on max effort day. See if we can squeeze out sets of 10 with that. And when we get past 10, we need to bump the weight. And this time I went with normal barbell rows. Some people call it a pen lay row. That's just called the barbell row. Instead of the bent over row, mainly because with the bent over row, grip starts to add up. I'm forced to use a heavier weight because it's not going to be as strict. And I like pen lay rows, so I like to use both of those rows at different times. But I don't want to lose grip by strapping up. But I do feel like grip can become the limiting factor on a barbell row at my current strength level. Whereas then I still get grip training and it's a stricter movement when we do the barbell row off the floor versus the bent over row. So I went with these, and I didn't go super heavy. I haven't done these in just a bit. So these weren't particularly hard. It allowed me to stay really, really strict. Sometimes when I start going real heavy, I've cheated a little bit on these. I think the strongest I've ever done was, my work sets were like 250 on these. But there's a little more body English when I do that. So I wanted to keep it real strict. I started with 195, and I think I'll keep these in for a while. Again, as long as I'm doing some type of row. Right, we need some type of row every single workout, and you guys have now seen me do like 4 types of rows, recently. But my lower back, my work capacity, everything is good enough. I feel like I can get away with some standing rows. And what's the perk of that? Lets me get my workout done faster. Not having to set up seal row benches, not having to set up all those dumbbells. I can just load a barbell with my deadlift jack, drop it on the floor, and row it. Okay. Less setup time, because I feel like setting up chains and bands and stuff on the speed bench takes, quite a bit of time. This is just way more efficient. And as funny as that sounds, sometimes that matters. When I'm trying to just get these workouts done, get in and get them done, that matters, especially if I want to try to keep it inside of an hour. Just anything that can speed up my workflow, which is one reason I have this gym organized the way it is. It's organized in a way to speed that up. All right. Went with the standing press again, and I did 3 sets today. I'm trying to pause at the bottom on most of these, and before anyone chimes in, this is as far as I can lock it. Sorry, I don't care what you think about it. If you want to argue about it, I'm just going to ban you. It's very simple. I've already shown this over and over and over. You guys saw me have to point to my elbows at those meat bench press. There's a reason I have to point to my elbows. So overhead press, that's what I can do. Same thing with pull-ups. And that's the thing. If I don't try to impress anyone by trying to stretch and force ranges of motion my joints don't do, I don't get hurt. That's always a key factor in these things. When I try to listen to the internet, I will eventually try to work on getting dead hangs again on the pull-ups. The pull-ups are hard. I haven't done them in a while. I have not done pull-ups like that, normal pull-ups, in a little while, so my strength is down on those. And I rode first. I didn't do them fresh. Normally I used to do them fresh all the time when you guys used to see me rep them out. I just did a bunch of other work, and I just did 3 sets of barbell rows first. So it's a little more fatigued. So six reps was pretty challenging. Yes, I could have ground out more, but they were close enough to failure that I got a good training response. I want to ease back into doing those. And as you guys notice, what are we seeing here? We're kind of hitting all angles. Because if I'm going to use mostly multi-joint movements for stuff, which is what you're seeing today and recently again, I really need to hit a variety of angles on these things. It's important. I don't want anything to be too redundant if I'm not going to fill in the gaps with single joint movements as much. So we did, obviously, flat benching of some type, so always going to be done, whether it's speed day or max day. Did incline bench, overhead press. Right, we hit all 3 angles. Did a vertical pull and a horizontal pull. Okay, we did barbell rows, we did wide grip pull-ups. So again, the whole upper body, the torso area, which would include all the delts, chest, back, everything else, got hit from pretty much all the effective angles, between these 5 different movements. Okay, so we hit everything. And really pull-ups, I feel pull-ups a ton in my delts. I know rows in theory on EMGs, rows seem to hit the rear and side delts and stuff harder, but I really feel those on pull-ups, particularly wide grip. Not that how we feel always matters, but that's where I feel them. I feel like my shoulders got worked really hard today. Okay, we went with, at the end, to get some arm work in, JM presses and hammer curls. 3 sets of each, did 12 reps on each one, weight that was challenging for 12. And again, did supersets on those just to get through the workout quicker. So, 135 on the JMs, and I took a slightly wider grip on those. I don't know, I just feel like they hit my triceps almost harder that way. Granted, it's upfield a little more delt and stuff too, but the medial head of my tricep really just gets hammered when I take a slightly wider grip, and I seem like I can move more weight on it. Again, point of contention as to how wide we should grip JM presses. So I kind of always experiment with those back and forth a little bit, but I went with, like I said, the slightly wider today, kind of a medium grip, instead of, right at the knurl or inside the knurl, which I've also messed with. So this finished up, my workout finished up all the arm work. Again, hammer curls. Again, easier on your bicep tendons. Allows me to train my grip strength and forearm along with the bicep. And I feel like a lot of times those are limiting factors. My lats are pretty big. People definitely notice that when I do shirtless stuff. My lats are pretty big. I don't feel like my lats actually limit most of my back work. Oftentimes it feels like arms, things like that. So throwing in some hammer curls will not only help the biceps grow, it'll probably help with my pull-ups, help with my rows. Helps with deadlift grip. It's a good grip exercise. So in this case, even though I'm doing a single joint bicep exercise, I'm working with one at the moment that has other carryover to other things. So it makes it a very, very useful tool. And again, keeping that inflammation off the tendon. I did supine curls for just a little bit with dumbbells, but I don't want to overdo that because, again, that tendon can become sensitive, especially if we're going to do a lot of heavy deadlifting. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.